Chapter 6459. The huge factory suddenly exploded and caught fire in front of him, and was completely engulfed in flames. Although Mingala was shocked, he also knew in his heart that such a big thing must be reported to the higher-ups as soon as possible. At this time, the heavy machinery also began to explode and catch fire continuously, and some even threw burning fuel tanks and mechanical parts into the sky. The entire Duke Mining was like a huge fireworks show. The violent explosions continued. Mingala took pictures while dodging various debris falling from the sky, and then immediately called his superior, a Tongji who was in charge of all resident envoys. The Tongji was guarding the exchange plate tonight in the governor's office. On the big screen in front of him, multiple garrisons of the Right Army governor's office were marked on the map, presented in the form of a bright spot. Above each bright spot, there were 2 arcs, each connected to another different bright spot, one of which was marked with an outward arrow, and the other was marked with an inward arrow. The outward arrows represent the destinations of the first batch of cavalry guards to be replaced from this garrison, and the arrows inward represent the departure points of the first batch of cavalry guards to be replaced from this garrison. Since the garrisons of the Right Army Governor's Office are all in Europe and Africa, and the time difference is not large, the first batch of exchanges will be completed within the next 6 hours. And his most important task today is to ensure that the first batch of exchanges is completed on time and smoothly. Just as he was waiting for the envoys to report that the first batch of exchange members was ready to leave, Mingala called. When he received the call from Mingala at this time, he was a little uneasy, because according to the agreed time, all garrisons would start 10 minutes later, which is midnight Moroccan time. At present, the first batch of cavalry guards from various places have not yet set off. So why did the Moroccan envoy call? Despite his nervousness, he immediately answered the phone and asked, "What's the matter for calling me now?" Mingala dodged the debris of the explosion and shouted, "Something big has happened, Mr. Tongji. Duke Mining has exploded into a sea of fire." "What?" The Tongji suddenly felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. He jumped up from his chair and shouted, "What's going on? Is there a safety accident?" "No." Mingala looked at the flames in front of him and murmured, This doesn't look like an accident. Everything is burned down. The office building, refinery, warehouse, dormitory, oh yes. The office building seems to have collapsed." "Sure, the Tongji said in a panic. Could it be the same as Cyprus?" Mingala is the special envoy to Morocco. Although he has heard about what happened in Cyprus, most of it was from outside news. He doesn't know the specific situation, so he didn't dare to respond casually at this moment. After thinking for a moment, he said to the Tongji, "Sir, I have a live video here. The explosion happened after we arrived. The driving record in the car should be very clear. I will export it and send it to you." The Tongji hurriedly said, "Quick! Send it to me." Mingala immediately said, "Okay, sir, please wait." After that, he hurriedly said, "By the way, sir, I think the enemy is likely to be watching nearby. Should I take people to evacuate first?" The Tongji blurted out, "You stay where you are and wait for me to ask the Grand Commander." After the Tongji finished speaking, he hung up the phone directly. Mingala had no words to say at this time. He was very familiar with Duke Mining's situation. There were more than 10,000 people including the cavalry guards, the death guards and their relatives.